Okay, you have your NFL Week 17 prediction. So filming this during the Sunday night game, so I'm not sure about all the results from Monday night yet. But you have your first game, the Browns versus the Jets. Both teams coming off wins. Jets beating the Commanders, while the Browns beating the Texans. The Browns, Joe Flacco has not played bad. Their offense definitely looks better under Joe Flacco, and that Jets defense did well against Sam Howell, but then collapsed against Jacoby Brissett. That Jets defense has had their good moments, has had their bad moments, and they should slow down the Browns offense, but that Jets offense isn't bad, and that Browns defense is great, so I'm gonna take the Browns here, especially Jets have to travel on a short week. Then you have the Colts versus the Raiders. Raiders play on Christmas Day versus the Chiefs, while the Colts coming off a loss against the Falcons. The Colts offense just did not show up against the Falcons, which is different from the rest of the season. The Colts offense has been good this season. Gardner Minshew has played well, and Jonathan Taylor coming back should provide a bigger boost. That Colts defense isn't anything special, while the Raiders, outside of that 63 point, they the points they put up against the Chargers, the Raiders offense haven't been that good, but their defense has played better. It's going to be close, but I trust the Colts offense, so I'm taking the Colts here. And then you have the Ravens versus the Dolphins, potentially for the number one seed. And the Ravens, they play on Monday night, a huge game against the Niners, while the Dolphins come off a close win versus the Cowboys. Against the Cowboys, that Dolphins defense continues to be very good, and that offense didn't have any big mistake. While the Ravens, so far this season, their defense has played very good, but their offense has also played very good. And I think the Ravens are just a more battle-tested team, and they have way more consistency. So I'm going to take the Ravens here, especially with home field advantage. Then you have the Bills versus the Patriots. Patriots come off a close win versus the Chargers on Saturday, while the Patriots currently beating the Broncos. This is a divisional game, so it's hard to tell. But the Patriots, they're pretty much tanking at this point. And the Bills, they have playoff aspirations and potential AFC East. Um, potential AFC East crowned. Bills should get this one, but like I said, divisional games are always a chance for an upset. But I'm gonna take the Bills here. Then you have the Chargers or the Texans versus the Titans. I'm not sure if CJ Stroud is going to be back for this game, but the Texans are coming off a loss against the Browns, while the Titans are lost the game versus the Seahawks. And Titans, with Ryan Tannehill back, the offense just isn't as effective, and that Tennessee defense isn't that bad, but I don't think it's enough to carry the team. While the Texans, their offense just looks different without Stroud. I'm guessing Stroud will be back. So I have the Texans winning this game. Then you have the Chiefs versus the Bengals. Bengals losing to the Steelers horribly versus the Steelers. While the Chiefs play on Monday night, the Bengals loss to the Steelers was not good at all. That Bengals defense collapsed. Their defense that has been solid this season did not play good at all. And Jake Browning might finally be losing his magic. And against a Chiefs team who has a very, very good defense, I think he can cause problems for Jake Browning. And that Chiefs offense, even though it hasn't come fully alive yet, they're still capable. So I'm going to take the Chiefs here. Then you have the Broncos versus the Chargers. This game, the Chargers, they came close versus the Bills, but they couldn't get it done. While the Broncos, they're currently losing to the Patriots, and none of these teams I think are that good. But the Chargers, I think they're way more injured than the Broncos, and Broncos at least have a chance for the playoff with home field advantage. So I'm taking the Broncos here. Then you have the Jaguars versus the Panthers. Panthers come off a close loss against the Packers, and their defense didn't play that great, but this season has not been that bad. But that Panthers offense is awful. Though they did have a better game versus the Packers. While the Jaguars, they got destroyed by the Bucks. But I'm not sure if Trevor's gonna be in for this game. But if I'm not sure if he is gonna play this game. But I think with Jaguars with home field advantage, and a more talented team with the better wide receivers, I'm gonna take the Jags here. Then you have the Seahawks versus the Steelers. Steelers coming off an upset win versus the Bengals, where their offense finally exploded and their defense intercepted Browning like 2 or 3 times. While the Seahawks, they're coming off a win against the Titans. Um, Talent-wise, the Steelers definitely have more talent. Their defense, even though not the best, has been playing better as of late, and that I still don't trust that Steelers offense just yet. And that Steelers defense, even though they did play better, they haven't been great this season. And that Seahawks offense is good, so I'm gonna take the Seahawks, especially with home field advantage. Then you have the Cowboys versus the Lions on a Saturday night game or Saturday game. Um, Cowboys, they're come off a close loss versus the Dolphins, while the Lions come off a win versus Minnesota. Cowboys definitely not that impressive on the road, but at home they should be firing on all cylinders. While the Lions, they've been playing better, but like I said, I don't trust the Lions. I think Cowboys are going to be able to slow down that Lions offense and pair to that Lions defense, especially with the Cowboys at home. So I'm taking the Cowboys here. Then you have the Eagles versus the Cardinals. Definitely a trap game for the Eagles. Cardinals, they lost to the Bears, while the Eagles, they play on Christmas Day, and it's gonna be a close game. It's not gonna be a close game. Eagles, I think the Eagles get back on track, so I'm gonna take the Eagles here. Then you have the Rams versus the Giants. Rams come off a win on Thursday night versus the Saints, while the Giants play on Christmas Day. Tommy DeVito could definitely be a problem, especially with Giants' home field advantage, but Giants are just not a good team. While the Rams, they've been playing better as of late, or this last month. Matthew Stafford's been on fire, and that Rams defense hasn't actually been that bad, so I'm taking the Rams here. And you have the Niners versus the Commanders. Commanders tried to come back versus the Jets, but couldn't get the win. While the Niners play tomorrow on Christmas Day. Um, Commanders, they're not good. I'm not sure if Sam Howell's going to be benched, but the Niners have the one of the best defenses. They should cause problems for that Commanders offense, and that Commanders defense does not exist. So I'm going to take the Niners here. And you have the Bucks versus the Saints. Saints coming off a Thursday night loss versus the Rams, while the Bucks coming off a big win versus Jaguars. Saints, their defense did not look that good, but has been playing better this season. Their offense isn't anything special. While the Bucks, at least their offense has been playing really good. Baker Mayfield has been playing really good, and they slowed down. And the Bucks defense has been playing better as of late. It is a divisional matchup, so it could be close, but I'm taking the Bucks here. Then you have the Falcons versus the Bears, a very interesting game indeed. The Bears coming off a win against the Cardinals, while the Falcons coming off a win against the Colts. Bears defense, I think, has been playing a lot better lately, and their offense, even though not great, Justin Fields still makes some acrobatic plays. While the Falcons, they had a nice bounce back game. They have a lot of weapons on offense if they knew how to use it right, but their defense plays better against the Colts. It's going to be a close game, but I think with Bears' home field advantage and their improving defense, I think I gotta take the Bears here. Then you have the Vikings versus the Packers. Vikings come off against a loss against the Lions. Packers, they just haven't. Packers, even though they're coming off a win against the Panthers, their defense is crap. Their defense is not any good. Their offense hasn't been bad. Jordan Love has looked a lot better, but even with Vikings problems at quarterback, Nick Mullins start, I think the Vikings have a good defense, and their offense shouldn't struggle too much against a Joe Barry-led Green Bay Packers defense. So I'm going to take the Vikings here. So there you have my NFL Week 17 predictions.